currently 5:20 a.m. This video took me at least 2 weeks to finish. At least. I got nothing. This is Cyberpunk 2077. Hope you enjoyed. Because this took a good few weeks out of my life. Kind of worth it in the end. I'm proud with the end result, but oh boy. I'm gonna go watch some videos. See you whenever I make another video. For this part of the video, I'm going to issue the one and only potential spoiler alert. I don't know exactly what footage I'm going to use or if it's going to be crucial to the story because I haven't finished the game yet. It's a long one, but just in case, if you don't want to see any potential spoilers, please click away now. This is not a guaranteed spoiler-free review. Anyway, here's the video. Hope you enjoy. Cyberpunk 2077 is the perfect example of a botched launch. Everything somehow managed to go horribly wrong on launch day for this game, and CD Projekt was used to it, but not at all at this scale. Multiple bugs in the PC version and absolutely destroyed, yes, destroyed, console version, and the next-gen version not arriving for a good few months. The CD Projekt group did not expect this to happen whatsoever, nor did they even plan it out properly. I don't think it helps to say that this could have been prevented easily, but what has happened has happened. It doesn't help that the game was delayed a lot on short notice, about 4 times. And it gets worse. Apparently they've been developing the game for about a decade. Is this Cyberpunk or Duke Nukem Forever?
Blow it out your ass.
But how is the end product overall? If you set aside the bugs, the scandals, the horrid development time, and the console version, is it still a good game? Simple answer, yes. There is still a lot of good game under these issues, and not just a good game, but an elaborate one at that. I mean, this game is huge. At a whopping 65 gigabytes, still manages to be smaller than Grand Theft Auto 5. This game has a ton of things just stuffed into it. Branching storylines, different character possibilities both in terms of design and skills, a huge immersive world of the vehicles. Needless to say, this game isn't just stuffed full for slaughter. CD Projekt definitely delivered on a lot of things, except for the release date.
What a mess.
However, I said that was just a simple answer. What's the more complex answer? Well, for me to deliver on that, I have to talk about both versions of the game as 2 separate entities because, well, that's what they are. 2 separate entities. This reminds me of when games were so different between systems because of hardware limitations, but instead of hardware limitations, it's developer oversight. And what better place to start with this than the graphics for the game? Save for some loading issues occasionally, the graphics look amazing. There was clearly a lot of effort put into every single detail of Night City and how it looks. The buildings stand tall, the streets are populated, the people are seriously designed elaborately. This is visually the greatest game I have ever played. The colors, the screens, the pedestrians, the vehicles, everything visually has life in the game. And with ray tracing enabled, it is absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous. Sadly, I don't have a ray tracing enabled setup quite yet, but even without it, it's amazing. It easily beats out Red Dead 2 and pretty much almost every game on PC, excluding Crysis Remastered. Meanwhile, on the console side, moving on. Gameplay is next, and the game doesn't feel that hot to play, honestly. The walking feels fine. I just feel like I'm gliding across the sidewalk rather than walking or running. It's minor, it's nitpicky, but it bugs me a little. The weirdest part to me is the gunplay. I don't know how to put this, but it feels like every gun has kickback, but more than what the game actually cares to show. It's a little weird, honestly. I can't even explain it totally, it just feels odd. The skills do help a lot here though, because there are some lethal quick hacks. It's even more fun when you breach your network protocol because you can either get more money out of some hacks, lower the requirements, or just boost your abilities like easily disabling the camera system. And the stealth, while not Metal Gear level, is actually really cool because if you're seen, you have a chance of ducking out of view to save yourself, yet you're not totally safe. You have to be very careful because they'll start approaching where they saw you, which means you have 2 options. Disable their vision or keep moving out of view as much as you can. In a lot of jobs, this tactic is very useful when there are groups way bigger than you can handle on your own at a point in time. Unless you make V powerful enough to take them on, this is a great twist that definitely makes up for the shooting segments and adds a lot of thinking to what could have been another brainless shooter. Meanwhile on console, this is... moving on. The sound, the audio in this game is absolutely phenomenal, with every single thing having a sound that blends together with everything else. It truly feels like I'm in Night City just by listening. I feel like I'm V, and speaking of V, both the masculine and feminine voices are very well done. It's been a while since I played a game that had great voice acting. This is seriously a breath of fresh air after Immortals Phoenix Rising, and the music selection for this game actually sounds great. I don't know if I can play anything besides the title song because the United States government and the copyright system on YouTube both have it out for content creators, but trust me when I say it's music you wouldn't see yourself getting into without playing this game. And the sound effects are very punchy and satisfying. You feel the shots land without needing vibration, although that definitely enhances the experience. Meanwhile, on PlayStation 4, yeah, it's time to address the elephant in the room. The console version of the game is totally broken. Whether it be loading issues or delayed explosions, bad frame rate or low resolution, sometimes both, this version is a totally different game, and a totally worse game on top of that. I thank goodness I bought the PC version because I would have been livid over this version. Like, break a controller pissed. The game should not be this bad on PS4 at all, especially on PS4 Pro. There's like major loading issues and the resolution is still utter garbage. The frame rate tanks, the game frequently crashes, and even with the patches, the game has a new issue: texture streaming. The environments don't load in, the character textures and models have a tough time loading, leading to some true nightmare fuel. The frame rate tanks way too frequently, although to be fair, the game reacts the same with AMD graphics cards for some reason. And the game is just absolutely ruined. How? This should not be possible. How the hell did this happen? How did this even get released? Now, I know I promised that this would be a spoiler-free review, but I have to talk about this because it's unavoidable. So, if you want to skip the spoilers entirely, please skip to this time code to get to the final scores. This whole section was not written. I just want to point that out. This was not pre-written. This is based off my own pure emotions. Alright, so, one of the characters in the game, Jackie Wells, he is a very major supporting character in the plot. As a matter of fact, almost as important as Johnny Silverhand. Problem is, he only shows up in the prologue. And the reason why is because he unfortunately dies during the heist. I swear to God, out of all the games that I have played that have had this sort of thing happen in the game's story, this is the only one to have legitimately almost made me cry. And his death it hit me hard. And it was even harder because there's a mission in the game where you have to essentially search for one thing that you believe meant the most to him with his girlfriend Misty. That way his mother could put it on his ofrenda because he was Hispanic and possibly the only Hispanic character I encountered in the game, minus his mother and also a couple others, but I don't want to get into that. He was a major Hispanic supporting character is my point. And yeah, he died during the heist and I can't help but feel like I could have prevented that. Of course I couldn't though, because this is actually a major scripted event. Because no matter what you do, if you pick Corpo V, Street Kid V, or any of that, it doesn't matter. Jackie always dies. And that's the saddest part I have to accept about the game. And it hurts like hell because he was a damn likable character, man. I loved Jackie and he was hilarious as hell. Too bad I have no footage of the prologue, otherwise I would have been showing it off right now. But, ayo, I can't do much now. And it gets worse because one of the other key characters of the game, Evelyn, or Evie, dies too. She commits suicide. And mind you, she was an odd character. You know, with her, you'd have to be very analytical because you don't know what kind of character she is, honestly speaking. She sends you on a heist, yes, but you don't know what kind of character she is, because she looks shady, but then again she also looks trustworthy because she has her best friend Judy Alvarez to back her up on everything. However, you don't know how to feel about her as a player, and as V, you don't know how to feel about her as well. Well, then of course she gets kidnapped and is traumatized all the way to hell and eventually commits suicide somehow in Judy's apartment after she was supposed to be on watch because she was not mentally okay. This game really pulls hard at your heart, and it is both bad and good because it hurts, but that's how you know the story is gripping you. That's how you know the story is pulling you in. When it actually almost makes you cry for characters you didn't know that you cared about, or that you didn't know would have a major impact on you as a character and as a viewer of the story. When it makes you nearly cry, when it pulls at your heartstrings, when it makes you feel awful, that's how you know the game is doing good. That's how you know that the story is pulling you in, and that's how you know when to applaud developers and whoever the hell wrote this damn masterpiece of a game story. Oh, good lord. I have a love-hate relationship with these parts of the game. I mostly love it though. What's the final score? Well, for the PC version of the game, even if it took nearly a decade to come to fruition, the game turned out absolutely mind-blowing. No, the game isn't perfect thanks to a floating cigarette here and there and suitcases as well, with some other issues that I managed to avoid within the last 2 patches, and no, CD Projekt Red didn't exactly deliver on their promises. However, the end result was a fantastic game, and like their past games, I'm confident in history repeating for them. Right now, it isn't so great, but in time it will get better and reach its full potential. Cyberpunk 2077 on PC gets a solid 8.5 out of 10. Had this version probably been debugged, the game would have easily been the highest reviewed game on my channel in a heartbeat. Never has a game sucked me into its world like this game has, and never has it made it a great experience like this one. The game, of course, has its issues, and yeah, they're noticeable, but right after you see that and the game returns to normal, you're back into V's story and back into the game. And so far, for me, the bar for both the open world and RPG genres have been set. And yet the same game on PS4 and Xbox One fails to reach that bar in pretty much every single way. This version has absolutely nothing going for it, nothing works, and all around it's just bad. The PS4 version and the Xbox One version of Cyberpunk 2077 earns a staggering 3 out of 10. There is no excuse behind this version being as bad as it is. They had 8 solid years to develop this version and they wasted it. I didn't think it was possible to waste this much time on one platform and still somehow ruin it. This is totally unacceptable. Even if development started in 2016, this was still the target generation because the PS5 wasn't confirmed until 2019 and wasn't revealed until mid-2020. So what's the overall verdict? Well, on PC the game is fantastic and could be damn near perfect. However, it is really unstable and really risky to play without updating because it is laggy, buggy, and it's susceptible to performance dips, especially on AMD GPUs. And you do need some formidable hardware to just start the game. I'm shocked I could even run it. Worth buying on PC, but prepare for bugs and lightly unstable performance. On console, however, it is an inexcusable mess of a game and should have been either delayed or outright cancelled instead of being released day and date with the PC version. 8 years that quite literally went unutilized. And screw it, since Shane won't do it, I will. I'll link the playlist too so I properly credit him. Cyberpunk 2077 on PS4 and Xbox One.
It's just bad.